is Bryce Moore, and I will be your comedian. It's good to be back for the new year. It's a little late to call it New Year, but you know how it goes. Anyway, I hate when I have a crush on somebody. It is the worst feeling in the world, y'all, because it takes up too much of my time. It's all I can think about during that time. And I think too much. And I daydream too much. I'll be off in my own little world 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future. At some big event when I'm rich and famous, with whoever Mrs. B.A.M ends up being. And then whoever I had Mrs. B.A.M place holding doesn't work out at all. Sucks. Anyway, I've never dated before, big shock. Never dated before, and I'm not dating now. But last year I had two major crushes. They kind of just ruined the whole year, really. The first one was this girl at GameStop. She worked at GameStop, which is already dangerous territory. And she was cute too. I liked her. I really did. I would go in several weeks between February and March and just talk to her and hang out, you know. And I thought she was kind of starting to like me. And I'd go walking in and she'd go, "Hey, dude." Hey. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I invited her to a comedy show that was at Cregan's. It was the one that Dan Alton came to town for the first time he came to Jonesboro that I was involved anyway. Back in March, and she went to it, and I invited her to it because I was in the open mic. Okay, I was going to do the open mic, and I told her, you know, I do comedy, and she said that was cool, and that she was actually interested in doing comedy. Had been thinking about doing that for some time. Well, cool. That's great. Because see, here's the thing, y'all. None of my friends do comedy. Like, my friends majored in theater. I've got a friend who plays guitar. My friend Tyler, you know. I've got friends who do artsy stuff and performance stuff, but none of them do stand-up comedy. I don't have that. You know, I've got other comedians that I talk to when I go to open mics and see them. But I don't have somebody close to me that I can talk comedy with and, you know, maybe write jokes with and maybe even have a girlfriend along the way. Like I said, pathetic. Anyway, she goes to that show and she tells me I did good and all that. Well, the end of March, the day finally comes that I decided I'm gonna ask her out formally on a date. Now, I'd never done this before, ever. I'd never asked a girl out before. So I was like, here we go. I'm gonna ask her out, and this is gonna be a date. That's the idea. And I actually have thought that it's gonna work out. She's gonna say yes, and we're gonna go, and then, you know, it goes from there. That's what I'm thinking. So I go to see her at the store. Hey, I was wondering if maybe you'd want to go to a movie or out to dinner or maybe get some ice cream.
This might work a little better if you'd at least look at her.
What do you say? I'm kind of seeing somebody. Whoops! My bad. I didn't realize that. That would hurt just a little bit. Anyway, fast forward to July. I hosted that show at Recovery Room, the paid show. Hosted that show, and it was a great show, y'all. I killed, the other comedians killed, the audience was pretty much perfect. Just an incredible show, just such a good night. And then this girl comes walking up to me, very, very pretty, comes walking up to me, and she tells me that she enjoyed the show, she thought I did well, and all that, and so I thanked her, you know, normal stuff of meeting somebody after a show. And then she says that she has done a couple of open mics in the past, and wants to get back into it. Why do you do this to me? Well, maybe we could carpool to Memphis sometime. Well, I've got a truck, and I pull it to Memphis all the time. I'm your guy. Well, the very next day, the stars aligned perfectly, or so I thought. Anyway, Big Mickey in Memphis a comedian in Memphis, announced that she was starting an open mic on every Thursday at the Comedy Junks called LOL Thursdays. And she sent me the flyer to it, inviting me, saying, I'd love it if you could make it. And I was like, you know what, I'll see what I can do. And I ended up going that week. Well, I decided to go ahead and invite that girl. I sent her the flyer and said, hey, you mentioned something about carpooling to Memphis. You know, I'm planning on going. If you want to go, let me know. And then she just didn't respond for 2 weeks. Oh, thanks for reaching out. I'll definitely let you know if I'm free to join. Well, that ship has kind of sailed. And I'm trying to invite her to other mics, both in Memphis and here in Jonesboro. And she just never responds. You know, I'll be like, hey, I'm going to be at this mic at this time. If you want to go, come on. Or, you know, to let me know. Or you can come to this one. I'll be here. Also sign up. I'd like to see what you can do. You know, whatever the case may be. Nothing. She never responds to me. So I guess that's not going to work out either. And you know, oh well, I guess. After all, it's not like I'm actually single, you know? No, I'm in a committed relationship with stand-up comedy. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty serious. I mean, I am wearing a ring. Yeah, I commit the vast majority of my time and my energy into stand-up comedy. And it does not return the favor. It is a toxic relationship. It is not healthy in the slightest. Let me tell you what I mean. So, go back to GameStop Girl around that time. After that show I invited her to Cregan's, excuse me, I had texted Allison, the head of NEA Comedians, about how do I get into a paid show? How do I get into a showcase and get booked and people will buy tickets for it? How do I get into that? How do I start doing that? She said, start going to open mics in Memphis, and you know, do the same routines and workshop them, improve them, hone them. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I got the information on mics in Memphis and started going. And I try to go every week. And then she booked me for a paid show in May. That was my first booking ever. I did 10 minutes at a motorcycle club. That was really cool. And then go on forward back to July, that show at Recovery Room, after I talked to that other girl who wanted to get back into stand-up comedy. That's when I found out about the open mic every Thursday at the Recovery Room, the Thursday open mic, where you can get 15 minutes of time in the mic to do whatever you do. And then they started having me host that open mic from time to time. So what I'm telling you is this. Only whenever I think about trying to find somebody else, that's when my relationship with comedy actually gets stronger. That's a red flag if you ask me. Man. No, it is not a healthy relationship. Comedy does not love you back. It's mentally abusive. Absolutely mentally abusive. Because see, you'll go out, you'll have a horrible night. I do it all the time. Go out, have a horrible night, and I come back and I'm like, that's it! I can't take it anymore! I can't keep doing this to myself! I'm done! And the very next night, I'm Robert Plant. I can't quit you, baby. So yeah, I'm in a toxic relationship with stand-up comedy. And I guess that would make this the consummation of that relationship. I don't know what's worse, the fact that I just called this the consummation of the relationship, or the fact that I videoed it and put it on the internet for you to watch for free. That's it for this episode of B.A.M. Comedy. Thank you so very much for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you again next time.